Mhm. Hello, my sister.
Hello. Wow, that was beautiful.
Beautiful. That's the sky tonight here from the Musqueam and Tsleil-Waututh and Squamish people, stolen lands and waters and skies. That's the energy that is happening. And we are here tonight to celebrate the new moon number 12 of this year. So we are going to talk a little bit about the sky. We're going to talk about a little bit of what are the rituals for the new moon, or some of the rituals that we can embrace. What is it, the energy that we can bring into our life in connection with the new moon? And we're going to have fun.
Mm, thank you so much. I'm so grateful to be down here close to the water, right? To be able to see this beautiful land and water that we're living on here on our Coast Salish territories, and diving in to learn more about what is going on in the night sky and how these teachings can help guide us and move us and inspire us and uh, yeah, guide. More than anything, I think it's about the guiding, right? Like where we might be getting stuck in patterns, how we can find the way through those patterns. And this one seems so, because we're also in that middle of the eclipse season, or we've just had that eclipse season. So just so many things happening, um, and then wondering, when was the last time the sky was like this? So you know, um, so
Lori, I'm
yes,
sorry to
no,
interrupt. We
please
haven't
do.
said who we are.
Yeah, you're right. We
So
didn't. Here we are.
here we are. We say where we are. We look at the sky, but we didn't say who we are. So if you want to go first, my sister.
Okay. Well, I am known as Lori. I am Métis. I am a herbalist. I am a mother. I am a lover. I am curious. I am a storyteller, um, and so much more.
Beautiful. I am Laura Cisneros. I'm coming from the Caribbean Sea. I'm also a mother of twins. My kids are gonna be 20 years old this weekend. Very happy to be here. I am very happy. I am water. I am love. I am the cosmos, and much more.
Beautiful. So I've been really inspired by my good friend Laura here to get a better understanding about the cosmos and the stars and the planets and how they play with me and with us and with the collective. And this new moon is again, looking more at the planets and how they show up in the sky versus us looking at a zodiac clock, a clock face. This is how it's been described to me, right? Where we're putting in 12 houses with 30 degrees in each house. So this sort of a mathematical wheel that we can look at. That is one way that we can get some understanding. But I think we can also go a little bit deeper and also recognize that science, or that uh, discipline, is not that old compared to some of the other disciplines that are much older, where we're actually looking at the planets where they're sitting in the constellations versus in the zodiac house. And
Lori, can I say
yeah,
something
yeah,
about that
please
clock,
do. Yeah,
about that circle?
yeah,
Because you're talking about the houses, but we want to say that is not that this clock is not related to the constellations. It's related to the constellation. It's related to only 12 constellations. It's related to the 12 constellations that during the solar year, the sun goes through. So these are the 12 that we know, right? And we will talk a little bit more about it, but it's just to get it clear that there are 12 constellations that are involved in this clock. That is the tropical astrology.
So fascinating, all these pieces, right? And getting a better understanding with it. So I'm really grateful about that. So I wanted to show you in the night sky. So I'm going to share my screen here. And I just realized it's probably not on my back end. So let me quickly put that. There we go. There it is. So I can put that up so you can see more what we're talking about. And so like Laura's picture or the sky view, so that was sky view that Laura was showing. You can put that app on your phone and you can have a free app, or you can pay more and get a little bit more detail. And what Laura was showing was how the sun and the moon and Venus and Mars are all very close together. I think somewhere around, I think I heard that when Venus and Mercury, sorry, I said Mars, Mercury, when they're within 13 degrees of the sun, we're not able to actually see them in the sky right now. So that's kind of interesting. It's almost like they're invisible, even though we know that they're there. And what you're actually looking at is a YouTube post that is by Heather Ainsworth. So this is her showing this map, but it was just really easy for me to share that. So she's talking about the new moon, and I really appreciated what she was sharing for me that I wanted to share with you. Obviously, you can go into that recording and I can put it in the chat. So if you want to listen to what she had to say. So what I found beautiful is if we're looking here, we can see that the sun and the moon is in the energy of the constellation Libra, which is represented by our Egyptian goddess Maat, M-A-A-T, Maat. I think that Maat. And right, what we know about Libra is that scale of the justice. So, you know, wanting to bring balance into our life, to have more harmony. And then if we actually look at, you know, the stories of this amazing goddess, and Laura can share a little bit more, there is images of her with an ostrich feather, right? She's holding the ankh of life. And that when our in those times when our body died, what they would do is they'd actually take our heart and they would weigh it to an ostrich feather, which weighs around 21 grams. And the idea was that if your heart weighed more than the ostrich feather, that was an indication of how much we carry in our heart. So really what we want to do is be mindful that we're balancing that out and we're not carrying that grief with us. We're not carrying our, what's that? What am I thinking of? The grief, the guilt, the regrets, right? We want to carry our heart lightly. Otherwise, the idea was that we'd actually come back and reincarnate to live this cycle again. So this is what it's telling me. For me, what I'm understanding is this is an opportunity for us to really let go of any regret that we might be carrying, right? We want our heart to be light like a feather. Laura's got also some beautiful images that she wants to share, but I'm going to just share a few more things here, and then what we can do is go that way and see some beautiful goddess pictures of Maat. I'm sorry, I'm probably keep saying it wrong, but I'll keep practicing. And then with Venus and Mercury there, we can see it's very close within the constellation of Scorpio and very close to this beautiful star, Antares, which is considered a royal star. And a royal star signifies like a guardian of the sky. And this star is the 16th brightest star that we see in the sky. And oh my goodness. So there we go. So there she was, Heather, talking and reminding me that all of this, you know, part of the symbolism or the story or the teaching or the guidance is how we bring that balance, how we put ourselves back into right relationship with ourselves, right relationship with the cosmos, with the earth, with others, right? So, yeah, how can we bring that harmony and balance back, right? Walk with a light heart. And Antares, there is, what else did I want to share about the Antares, right? That this
Lori,
is,
can I say
oh yeah,
something
please
briefly?
do. Yeah, go ahead.
So I want to say something about the royal stars, right?
Yes.
Antares is one of the 4 royal stars. So each of the, if each of the, what in the tropical astrology is called the fixed signs, it contains one of the 4 royal stars. In the Persian culture, the astrology was based all around these 4 stars. So this star is in Scorpio, which is a sign of water, right? So there is also 1 per season, 1 per element. So one of these stars each associated to like one of the elements, one of the seasons. If you want to call it also in the tropical astrology, one of the like is either fixed and mutable, or oh my goodness, what is the other one? The first one? It will come
Fixed,
to me in a second.
mutable,
And
like
cardinal,
cardinal.
right? So that is like, you can see Lori was saying like the astrology, the Western astrology is relatively a very new discipline. And what is it is part of this colonial mentality. And they took from so many different places that they already used the astrology as part of their life. But the astrology was connected with actually with nature. It was connected with the cosmos. Versus the tropical astrology is right now stuck in that phase clock that Lori was talking about with the 30 divisions and all of that. So there is not exactly relationship between what the astrologers are saying and what is happening in the sky, right? Because the astrologers are talking right now, the moon is in Sagittarius. Yes, in that phase clock, in that movement of the 12, the new moon is supposed to be in Sagittarius. But when we look at the sky as we did at the beginning, is actually entering right now or leaving right now, Scorpio entering Sagittarius, right?
And you can see there's Sagittarius in the constellation way up here in the left part of this map right now, right? So it hasn't actually quite gotten into the constellation, but in our clock face, it is actually now just starting at what, 1 degree in Sagittarius, right? The new moon was something like 1 degree in Sagittarius.
2 degrees in Sagittarius.
Okay.
But also realizing that any astrology, serious astrologer, like tropical Western astrology, the first thing that they would tell you is like, we use the name of the constellations, but there is no correlation with the constellations. So it's just to make it clear that what we are looking here is what is happening in the sky, and this is what Lori was talking about, and that's what we saw at the beginning with the sky view. So it's 2 different things, just to not get anyone confused.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lori.
Yeah. And so just looking at my notes here, right? Antares is about this initiation of change, this metamorphosis, right? The change of the form of life. So we're gonna see destruction,
I'm
and then
sorry, Lori, I cannot hear you very well.
oh, okay. I was just saying Antares, right, is about this
Okay.
metamorphosis. It's about
Oh, beautiful.
the the healing or the destruction, right? So
Mm.
we're gonna see some destruction, you know, the breakdown of structures and let's hope so, so we can rebuild them, right? So we can have true healing happen for ourselves here. Um, and then the other thing that I just want to mention, and then I want to show some image of how big this star really is in relationship to us, to our own sun, and to our own system, our solar system. And the last thing I just want to say is Ophilus, is that how?
Ophiuchus, Ophiuchus,
Ophiuchus
Ophiuchus.
is the healer. And so the healer is watching over us here, right? This constellation is watching over this new rebalancing, this metamorphosis, like I said, about right relationship. You know, that this new moon is signifying us to, you know, again, take some time, go inward, love ourselves. Let's do some meditation, you know, who are we? Let's journal. Let's, you know, find that quietness, that stillness, right? And that we dissolve distortions and patterns that we've been keep going around in, right? We want to find that way through and really find that balance, right? That compassion for ourselves and others. So I'm going to stop sharing this screen for a sec and go into my back end one more time and find this other beautiful image, because I was like, wow, this is so cool, that I really wanted to share this with everybody, because I'm just so inspired by learning about the night sky, learning about it from a more ancient way. And so here we have this beautiful image. This is a great little article. And again, how large is this beautiful star that we see, and how close is it? And, you know, it's known as the heart of Scorpio. And what are the stories of this name? And again, I don't want to go too much into that, but I'll share that in the chat. So if you want to look. And in this image, you can see this is the size of this star.
The
Amazing.
size of Antares.
Antares. And this is where our sun is. So in comparison, if we're looking at our galaxy, the center, starting with the sun, and then the Earth and Mars and Jupiter. So that's how far out Jupiter is from our sun. And you can see.
Lori, I'm sorry to interrupt. Just one
Yeah,
second. Can you
yeah, yeah.
close the advertisement here?
This, if I
Like,
push
no,
this one,
no, the
oh
other
no,
one,
over
like a
here,
little bit like this
right
one.
there.
Yeah, that one.
Oh,
And this one over
okay.
here below. I don't know, like there is like this. I don't know if you can see my, on your right side, there is
Yeah.
another X.
Okay.
Lower, lower.
Lower.
Yeah, on the right side of your screen, there is an X that if you can close would be great, because then we can see a little bit better your graphic, or maybe take the picture a little bit up. The
Okay,
one
just
that
a
you,
sec. If I close
sorry.
this there now, can I get it? Is that better?
No, yeah, no, it's okay. We will,
Okay.
this,
Okay.
can you move it a little bit up for a second?
Up.
The picture, just up a little bit.
Yeah. Does
Okay.
that work?
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
Okay. So just pointing out that we're almost, the distance from the sun to Uranus is the size of this star in the sky. It's like, oh my goodness, it's like
Unbelievable.
700 times the size of our sun. It's like, wow, this is so unbelievably fascinating to me that I just
Mm.
wanted to share that with you. Like for us to get a better scope of how magnificent this universe is. And how can we honor, I feel, by us having a better understanding of the night sky and these constellations and these stories and these guidance and these, this beautiful guidance, right? These passages, how we pass through these passages as the planets and the stars line up for us. So I think you were going to share maybe a picture of the Egyptian goddess, or you didn't? Oh, you don't have it?
I cannot share it, like, unfortunately, but what I want to say is my aunt is a beautiful goddess, like so many in the ancient Egypt traditions. So it's really, this is the core of the African spirituality. When we talk about all of these goddesses and gods like Ra and Maat and Sekhmet and Osiris and Isis and all of that, that is the core of the African spirituality. But in this African spirituality, Ma'at, like Lori was saying, she represents the justice, but she also represents the harmony. And I want to make a little bracket here, like make a pause here, like Flavio like to say, or beautiful friend Flavio Santi from the Amazon. A pause here in the story is that our name, under the name that Lori and I will work together, is inHarmony in Nature, like Lori has it on her screen. And we really talk about this a lot because it's not about the balance, it's about the harmony. Diversity, it doesn't mean balance. Diversity means harmony, because in that balance is like the feather weighing the same than the heart. But those two are so different. Like the feather is coming from a bird, and a heart is something that is coming from the human beings. It's an organ, essential organ. It's the center of a spiritual body. So you see how different they are, but they need to be in harmony for us to pass in a beautiful way. So that's what she represents. She represents the harmony. And that's the reason that Lori and I, we choose to call ourselves inHarmony, in nature. Going back ourselves to be part of nature again, because we are nature. We are part of nature. It's not in harmony with nature, it's in harmony in nature. And that is precisely what Ma'at represents, in the sense that she represents the seasons, she represents the stars. And in some of the representation, you can see her holding the sky. You can see her also in relationship with the Milky Way. So that's who Ma'at is. That's that order that exists in the cosmos. That's what she represents. So that beautiful she is. And her father, of course, is Ra, grandfather's son in the Egyptian African spirituality. So thank you, Lori, for bringing this beautiful essence, because that's what it is. It's not a goddess, it's an essence. It's an spirit that she represents, right? And all of this is so beautiful, because then we start to go, like Lori says, like the 21 grams that our soul weight. So it has to be like, but it's also the weight of the feather that she's wearing, the ostrich feather. So you can see how, and this is something that I was talking a lot today with the kids, is like, what is it that when we say we are all related, how that is expressed in nature in so many ways. And the best way that I can explain to the kids is like, what the trees give us, oxygen. Can we live without oxygen? No. What we give back to the trees. So in that breathing in, breathing out is where we are related to our sisters and brothers that are the trees. But that can expand in so many levels in nature, and that is the harmonious way that Ma'at is putting that balance, is creating that Libra essence that Lori was talking about. So very beautiful when we start to connect with ancient cultures, when we start to connect with our own ancestors, right? With our African ancestors, my African ancestors.
Mm.
So, but we also wanted to connect it with the new moon, and you can see what Lori showed us there, and it's still. So everybody has a clear, when we talk about the new moon, is the moment that the moon and the sun are in conjunction. And that is both valid for the Western astrology and for what's happening in the sky. And we can keep talking about this a little bit more or less, but that is what we know. Like every time that the sun and the moon are encountered in the sky is a new moon. And we have 12 of those in the solar year, and sometimes 13 of those. So this year would be 12.
And here it is
But
in Sagittarius, right? So what
yeah,
does, Sagittarius represent? And for
right.
us to, really think about, bringing that play into our life, right? Looking at
Mm-hmm.
that adventure, being courageous to kind of step outside of our comfort zone, right? For us to, be a little outrageous, for us to, where are we putting our focus? What else do we want to be learning, right? So I've got that beautiful Moonology book by Jasmine Bolan, and she always brings up what we can be looking at. And this one says Capricorn, but it's not Capricorn that I'm looking at. I need to be looking
Sagittarius.
at the new moon in Sagittarius. Oh, there it is. So we can think about getting away. We can study,
Mm-hmm.
right? Learn something new. Search for meaning. I love this, right? Like, Sagittarius is about our philosophy, it's about our spirituality. Um, as I said, to have fun, to laugh, and to be grateful. And she
Yeah.
has this quote here. She said, "The secret of life is to know that you are blessed and to live your life within that knowing."
Mm-hmm.
Right? How blessed that we are.
Yeah.
So, it's not just the constellations, it's also thinking about the cycles of the moon and how those cycles
Mm-hmm.
can guide us in, remembering to do our intentions, right? And to focus our mind on what it is we want. What is it that we want? So, and
And not
remembering,
only our minds, right? To focus ourselves,
yeah,
the
yeah,
whole us,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
On what is it that we want? What
yeah,
is it that we want to create? And
yeah,
with every new moon is that. But I also want to say something about Sagittarius because in
yeah,
the
please.
Western astrology, I have 4 planets in Sagittarius. So if there is an energy that I think I know is that one. And it's funny because if you look at the Western astrology, they say right now or yesterday, the moon, the sun, Venus, and Mercury were in Sagittarius. And that is precisely the 4 planets that in my charts are also in Sagittarius. So 54 years ago, they were right there where they are right now, or pretty much based on the Western astrology, right? So what I can say, Sagittarius is very dreamy, right? Because you have that, what Lori was saying, that impulse, that energy of always been looking, always been learning, always been, there is something else to learn, there is something new to explore, there is also something new, very optimistic. But in that way of looking at life, what happens is sometimes you can get a little bit too far away, right? And then not being able to to make it concrete. So, and that is the energy that is right now. So if you feel like you want to start dream and you have 10 dreams, like go back to one dream. And this is when the writing the intentions are very important, because if you write your intentions very clear, then it's easier for your guidance. Okay, one at a time, or how they are related, or how this one might conduct, create the next one that is also in my list. So be a little bit less dreamy and more concrete, because the energy of Sagittarius
Mm-hmm.
easily take us really far away from our own intentions. So every time it's like you go there and come back, you go there and come back and check. with that heart, right? Is my heart here
Yes.
right now.
And that, just that I just want to add to that, that the power of prayer, right? For us to take the time, and that our prayers go out for everyone, right? And that we put some energy into, thinking about and praying for, right? Focusing on what it is that we want, right? To vision that new earth and what all those possibilities can be, and beyond, like for us to really expand that and know it's going to be beyond what we can imagine.
Yeah, yeah. And also in that sense of like, we like, we know like with the new moon, what happened, for example, with the plants, is all the energy of the plant is in the root, right? So it's just the beginning. It's the same. So right now is the beginning of the new moon, is the beginning of a new energy, is the beginning of a new cycle, right? Is the new cycle of the moon, the new cycle of a constellation, a new cycle in so many things, right? In so many different ways. So what is the ritual that we want to create for our new moons? And so Bonfu Some, which is an African elder, she passed, she was from Burkina Faso, and she was Malidoma Some, former partner before she passed. They were not together when she passed. So, and she has a beautiful book about the African spirituality in relationships or something like that. It's a very beautiful little book. And in that book, she says, nobody can tell you what is your rituals are gonna be. You can create your own ritual. What is it that it works for you? What is it that it works for you with the new moon rituals? What is it that it works for you with your moon cycle as a woman, if you're a woman? What is it that it works for you with the full moon? What is it that it works for you when the sun is in certain part of the skies? So what is it that it works for you in your relationship with your loved ones? So all of that, but the ritual, what it is an anchor to your prayers, to your intention, to whatever we want to manifest. So like find those rituals. One thing that I found very powerful with the new moon is always to, as I write in my intention, is to light a candle. Why? Because when there is a new moon, there is not much light in the night sky because she's so small on one side and another side because she's following the time of the sun in the sky. So at nighttime, there is no sun, there is no new moon, it's only the stars, right? So I add in an extra light at nighttime with my candle as I writing my intentions, my new moon intentions. So, but that is something that is really helped me when I doing my prayers, when I planting my intentions, when I wanted to start my rituals. Always light a candle so I have a light to guide me. Lori also had a light, a candle.
Yeah, and I was just on that pulse tonight, like just before you even talked about any of that, and just before we actually got online together on Zoom, I actually lit a candle, which is not something I do very often. So I'm so grateful that I'm in that energy of this new
Bring in the
moon
light.
and bring in the light, and to take the time, as I mentioned earlier, for us to do some reflection. I've been really thinking about my relationships. I phoned my sister today, who I very rarely speak with, right? Thinking about my former partner and others in my life, about that relationship and how I want to, really bring my prayers around that and be really kind and gentle to myself, right? So we wanted to bring a song, and I've also put in the chat. Oh, is there something else you want to bring
Yeah,
first? Okay.
I want to say something
Okay.
about just if a little thing that I'm learning, that I have been learning for the last, I would say 2 moon cycles probably, is about the light. So in those relationships, wherever we are in our life, in our journey, it doesn't matter how dark it is, we can always bring the light. And that is a beautiful practice that I found it in the last 2 moon cycles. How can I always bring the light? I'm doing literally with the candles, but it doesn't matter how dark it is, you can always bring the light. And we can talk more about it for the full moon, about that, how we can bring the light in the dark. I just want to say that. Thank you, Lori.
Beautiful. So I put in the chat the reading of Heather's for her astrological forecast and all of that, what we were just talking about, the constellations. So, and I also put in the article about Antares, and then the song that we wanted to play for you this evening. So I'm just really grateful that we spend a few minutes getting to know each other and getting to know the night sky, the moon cycles, these beautiful rituals and prayers that help us and guide us on this incredible journey that, you know, why are we here? And knowing that that we're being watched over, that we're being guided, and for us to have faith on this path. Yeah, we do the best that we can, and just keep going back to our gratitude, right? So I've already set it up, Laura. Shall I play it then?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks,
beautiful.
Macy. Thank you.
All right. So have a dance.
There is no sound.
Okay, because when I shared, okay, let me take this back here. I think I forgot to say thank you. And thanks for everybody's patience here. Oh, I have to stop sharing there.
Yeah.
Because I have to go back in and say, share the sound and optimize for a video clip. It's been a while since I've been doing any of this back end stuff.
Sanity. Sometimes it may feel like rain, and other days it may feel like sunshine, palm trees, and canopies. Maybe your fairy tale fantasies of love are vanishing. I just hope you understand real love comes with vanity. I know sometimes people hurt you and you couldn't handle it. Nobody to talk to, not even the ones in your own family. And keeping it in only made the situation more damaging. Never knew life can be such a calamity, because falling in love can be a tragedy, or a beautiful masterpiece if you let it happen naturally. All it really takes is time and patience to see what exists behind those smiling faces. And so it's better to love at the slowest pace, cause you never want to put your pretty flowers in a broken vase. In a broken vase.
On my window, and they told me I don't need to worry. Three little birds sat on my window, and they told me I don't need to worry. Summer came like cinnamon, so sweet. Little girls double dutch on the concrete. Maybe sometimes we got it wrong, but it's alright. The more things seem to change, the more they stay the same. Ooh, don't you hesitate.
But you know some things last forever, and some things never. But blessed are those that find the beauty in both situations that made them better. Your forgiveness means you're ready to fly, cause you walked through hell, but was able to find heaven inside. You found heaven inside. You found heaven inside. So don't spend all of eternity looking for someone to have and to hold. Though it may seem irrational, those who learn to love themselves have the happiest souls. Those who learn to love themselves have the happiest souls. Those who learn to love themselves have the happiest souls. Maybe it's meant to be for you to experience yourself as one entity, and then someone comes along to love you equally, eventually.
3 little birds sat on my window, and they told me I don't need to worry. Summer came like cinnamon, so sweet. Little girls double dutch on the concrete. Maybe sometimes we got it wrong, but it's alright. The more things seem to change, the more they stay the same. Ooh, don't you hesitate. Girl, put your records on. Tell me your favorite song. You go ahead, let your head down. Sapphire and faded jeans. I hope you get your dreams. Just go ahead, let your head down.
Sometimes it may feel like rain, and other days it may feel like sunshine, palm trees, and canopies. Sometimes it may feel like rain, and other days it may feel like sunshine, palm trees, and canopies. Sometimes it may feel like rain, and other days it may feel like sunshine, palm trees, and canopies. Maybe a fairy tale fantasies of love are vanishing. I just hope you understand real love comes with vanity.
I love Londrell. If you haven't listened to Londrell, I highly recommend. He's got some beautiful songs to lift our hearts, right? Keep them light. Light as a feather, my friends. I'm so grateful that we got to spend this time together. Hope this was helpful. Reach out. We'd love to hear from you. Can't wait to have a fire at the full moon coming up down at the beach. So come and join us. And hopefully we get to see each other really soon.
Sweet dreams.